Hey guys, it's Jim here. I just kind of wanted to make a quick video to talk about the current state of the guitar market and maybe some things you should or shouldn't do if you're looking to buy a new guitar right now. Alright, we all know that the market has completely exploded over the last, I don't know, since the pandemic started in March. And Fender has actually sold more guitars this year than any other year to date, and that's kind of insane to me. But I mean, it's understandable when people are going to stay home and play. Now, that being said, right now, if you go and look on the market, it is bonkers. It still is. None of this is new. But what I do want to warn you about is, as somebody that buys and sells guitars on a very regular basis, I've noticed a lot of trends. And after speaking to a lot of people in the industry, there are a few things that you should be aware of. Due to the shutdowns of actual factories themselves, a lot of people are running behind on inventory. For example, guitars like that pink PRS behind me, not even just specifically that one, I talked to my Sweetwater rep. They're not going to have any S2 single cuts, the 594 ones, until I think the earliest he said was May or June. And that's a major problem. There are some places that still have them in stock. Like if you go to Reverb right now, you'll probably find, I think when I did my last check, including used, it was like 170 of the S2 single cut style guitars, which, you know, that's a decent amount, and there's still some supply out there. But when a place like Sweetwater isn't going to have them in stock for that long, and they are number one to me as far as the big box online stores go, there's nobody that beats Sweetwater. So when they're gonna be that out of, that's a pretty common guitar for that long, that's not a good sign for the market. So if you're interested in certain guitars, if you see them new and they're not common, something like that, or even 339s, same thing, they're tougher to get right now. The American Professional 2s in the new sought-after colors, like the Miami Blue one and that Dark Knight, they're really hard to come by. So even if you find one used right now on Reverb, you're still looking at an almost new price, which to me is insane. But, I mean, it dictates supply and demand, so you're going to have to deal with it. I would be looking, if I was looking for a guitar for myself to keep right now in this market, here's a few things that I look for. I look for something that is not in a very plain Jane finish. And when I say that, I don't mean there's anything wrong with guitars that are in, you know, Olympic white or black or sunburst or, you know, the dreaded candy apple red, which is a joke in the Fender community because it's like the most common color that isn't one of those three colors. And because it's going to hold its value better right now. And that being said, it is harder to find those for a decent price. I'm staying away entirely from anything made in Mexico, and it's nothing against those guitars. It just has to do with their resale value is pretty poor. Right now it's up a little bit, but in the long term, if you just look at the graphs, they don't hold their value as much, whereas if you look at Japan and Japanese Fenders, for example, in my opinion, you're getting better craftsmanship new. Aventera's like 1050, which is the Mexican one. Used, the comparable Japanese one, is around that price, or if you get a custom color, it's like $100 to $200 more, and that'll just keep going up because those come in colors that are not even available in America a lot of the time. So you're going to get almost an investment on top of it, and that is important, especially right now, because nobody really wants to be taking losses on guitars. I had a friend of mine who made a cardinal mistake, I think twice in a row. He wanted to buy another Telecaster. He bought two American Fenders. He bought an Elite in the butterscotch, which would have been fine, and then he bought a Professional in white. Now, I think on total, he lost like $400 on both. And I mean, part of that comes down to he wasn't able to go into a store to try the guitars first. And, you know, that's always the best way to do it. But if you kind of know exactly what you're looking for, which is my second point, you won't run into pitfalls like that. Or if you do, and you get a color that is not as common as, say, white or the butterscotch, then it might hold its value a little bit better when you go to resell it, should you need to. Alright, a good example of a guitar that I would say is worthwhile buying right now new would be a guitar like a 339 or a 335 if you can find them in stock, and that's why. They're really hard to come by at the moment, and then on top of that, the used value is just rocketed. You might as well, if you can get into one of these sites that offer 6 payments, you know, be flexible with it, something like that, or just buy it outright and be done with it, because those are already kind of harder to come by as it is before the pandemic and the shortage. So right now, if you can find something like you want, then it's really worth it at that point to buy it. But that being said, other guitars, I think one of the best values you can get right now are used custom 24s, and that's not a plug. That guitar is not for sale, or a CE24 rather, a used CE24. That is one of the best values. I'm even going to advise, there's a site called Dave's Guitar. Check them out. They have a flat rate pricing for models. So what'll happen is, it doesn't matter if it's a red or a whale blue or a custom color, basically. The CE24s are all 1400 flat there, and they're so good. I just checked this morning and they had a gray black one. It's absolutely gorgeous. We'll do everything. 1400, boom, shipped to your door. Hard to beat that. And when you look at new valuations, 2000, slightly used ones on Reverb, value anywhere. I think the cheapest I saw today was 16 and up. It's just, this is a crazy market. I've never seen anything like it. A used custom 24 style Harley Benton guitar just sold on Reverb for $350 shipped. Now this might not sound crazy to you if you don't go to Tolman and you don't understand. That guitar is $200 plus shipping. Brand new. Like brand new. So maybe a good idea, wink wink, if you want, you know, a budget guitar. They do combined shipping that's flat rate up to a certain weight. I think they'll send you 3 in one package, so to speak. Maybe you spend $700. You sell the other 2, keep the one you want. You come up a little bit. I don't know. I'm just saying, it's not a terrible deal right now. Another really good budget. This is no secret here. The SE PRSs used are fantastic. You get those between $550 to $600. That's a buy. That's a good price. All those really need. People will say they need tuners. Tuners aren't the problem with that. When they're going at a tuner, it's nothing to do with that. It has to do with the nut. The nut that goes on those is pretty. It's not good. It's not very good. But the good news is you can fix that yourself for about 15 bucks. Or if you don't want to do that, you can buy it for 15 bucks and bring it to a shop, and any decent person will have it done and the guitar playing really well. I think it'll cost you like 50 bucks out the door. Not bad. Use Stratsko, use Tellys. Look for the made in Japan 80s and 90s stuff. If you don't care about custom colors, you can get a really good guitar for between $400 and $600. Those are buys right now, and those hold their value really well. Much better than the Mexican variants. Those don't really hold their value, especially the player series, which is, you know, the entry level. Those are gonna go for 400 used, and you know, there's just so many of them being made. It's a big factor as to why their prices are the way they are. So just to wrap things up, just be safe, be careful. Don't put your money into something that's being mass produced as of right now, unless you can get it really good used, in which case, you know, more power to you. But if you're buying new, don't buy anything that's going to be coming from overseas and expecting it to hold its value. They're just going to plummet because they're just going to be basically all that's available new for a little bit. And you just be aware. The shortages are real, and we're really going to start to see the effects of those in the next 3 or 4 months. So if you got any questions that I miss out on, any guitars that you're eyeing right now, any other advice, something like that, or just maybe an idea for a video, something you want to hear about, I just felt like shooting this because I check the market every day, and I thought it was really interesting, just the trends. So if there's anything else you'd like to know, leave a message, shoot me an email, leave a comment, do whatever. Until then, thanks guys. I'll see you next time.